On my 24th birthday, the day felt silent because I was alone with myself. The thoughts that came through my mind were, how did I end up here? Why do I want attention right now? Do my friends care about me? I'm sure whatever they're doing right now is much more important than being here with me. Little did I know that by saying these things to myself, I was unconsciously changing the mood of my day. Hello class, this is my speech about how imperative self-love is to our emotional well-being. I will explain the current problem with today's idea of what self-love is, recognizing our lack of self-love may lead to unhappiness, and a simple thing you can do to promote self-love. Let's begin by acknowledging today's self-love is the idea of a materialistic life. This is buying cars, shoes, clothes, or toys, etc. For example, you ace your speech and you have this feeling of, yes, I did it. I deserve a reward. You know what? Let's go out to eat, have drinks, and celebrate. This immediate mentality is not self-love. It is the material world trying to indulge you topically. You're unconsciously, momentarily giving yourself self-love, material self-love. Material self-love is always short-lived. Now imagine this. You aced your speech and instead you immediately sigh with relief, sit down, put your hands behind your head, and think to yourself, wow, I did it. At the beginning of the speech, I had no idea what I was doing. So I asked for help. Then I kind of got the hang of it. Come to think of it, I actually overcame self-doubt, the nervousness to ask for help. So honestly, I'm pretty proud of myself for pushing through. How does that sound? It sounds personal, huh? It feels raw. But why though? Because you are acknowledging yourself. Acknowledgement of where you have been, what you've been through, is not a short-lived feeling. It is self-love, honoring who you are as a person, not honoring of what you will have. From the author Eckhart Tolle, who has been interviewed on the Oprah Winfrey Show many times, he writes a book called A New Earth, Awakening Life's Purpose. And he writes, acute crisis and dysfunction always precede and coincide with an evolutionary advancement in consciousness. That shift in thinking from, woo, I want to party and celebrate, to wow, 2 years ago, I don't think I would have been able to ace that speech, is the advancement in consciousness. You recognize that the feeling has more of an impact of who you see yourself as compared to who you see yourself in the mirror after a celebration of drinks. Now, what happens when we don't recognize or acknowledge ourselves? What happens if we don't ace a speech or when we get a C? What if we told ourselves, I got a C because I'm the old guy in class? Or what if a C is just not going to cut it? I might as well drop the class. Great, my teacher thinks I'm pathetic. There's no point in succeeding now. Remember how I mentioned that I changed the mood of my day on my birthday? Well, according to medical doctor psychotherapist David M.D. Brown, in the book called Feeling Good, he says, when you're depressed, you wear a pair of sunglasses. And it has a special lens and you're filtering out anything positive. You are not aware that you're being constantly negative. This process is called selective abstraction. It's a bad habit that causes you to suffer much needless anguish. You see, this is all lack of self-love, possibly leading to unhappiness. Your thoughts change your mood. Instead, you could have told yourself, I think I got a C because I didn't try hard enough. I mean, I did do it the last second, and I did wing most of it, so I'm honestly the one to blame. Or, C is fine. Maybe next time I should just ask my teacher for help and ask for feedback. Just by changing what you tell yourself is practicing self-love. You are connecting with yourself, dealing with yourself, and trying to understand yourself first. When we look at ourselves first, we realize we are the product of a result. Which brings me to my solution of how to get in the habit of proper self-love. It's quite simple. You honestly constantly have to remind yourself and appreciate where you've been, where are you now, and where you want to go. First, remind yourself, wow, first remind yourself if someone tells you something nice about yourself, you think to yourself, wow, if you would have told me those kind words a year ago, I would have argued and disagreed with you. Today, I appreciate your words because where I came from got me here today. And today, I am hearing your kind words and accepting them. You're recognizing your past. Second, it is to constantly look in the mirror and ask yourself, are my habits today the same as it was a year ago? Or are the habits today a result of growth? Am I really growing from my past, or am I just doing the same thing I did a year ago or 2 years ago? Lastly, ask yourself, am I overcoming myself to become the ideal person I want to be when I think of my future self? In conclusion, we learned self-love isn't buying ourselves fancy things. We hurt our mood by pushing away self-love by staying negative. And we learned a daily habit to practice self-love. When in doubt of self-love, just try to acknowledge the moment you are in. Thank you.